I'm Oral Hershiser, and I am on the Blue Review.
Hey, this is Sean Green. You're watching the Blue Review.
Bum, bam, bam, bam. Ring. No bendies today, no lasers, no none of that stuff because the Dodgers blew a game that they shouldn't have actually scored any runs. Anthony Witrado here from Dodger Blue 1958, and no Marcas Grant that you see. And I am not in my normal space, Anthony. I am currently at SeaWorld in San Diego. How about that? A little bit of
You are
SeaWorld
swimming with the
action.
fishes.
Okay, not even swimming with the fishes. When we do Sedano and Cap, I'm going to be inside the shark encounter, and there's going to be sharks all around me. And while we're talking about the Dodgers and talking about the NBA Finals, we're going to be having sharks just kind of swimming right by us. How cool is that?
That's my kind of style. I like that. That's a good officer.
All right, with the Blue Review, I got to look up this. I have to figure out which camera I'm actually looking at. The Blue Review is powered by LAX. We're taking off. Learn more about all the incredible changes happening now at LAX by going to lawa.org/ESPN. All right, Anthony. So, yeah, I know. Thank you, Tim. I'm looking up. I just have to get this all figured out. I'll get there. So, last night, Anthony, it was a frustrating game overall. I was on a train from LA down to San Diego while watching it and watching on my laptop, and they just could not get a run across. They could not even get a hit for quite some time.
Yeah.
And then, really, the two runs that they did get really felt like they shouldn't have gotten them.
Yeah, it required a couple of bad defensive plays from the Diamondbacks to get those runs. But yeah, it was a frustrating game to watch, and it was almost like no Shohei in the lineup and a pitcher that most people probably never ever heard of. And you figured, oh yeah, this is the night they get no hit, or this is the night they get shut out. Um, luckily Corbin Carroll takes an awful route on a ball, leads to a run. Ball drops into center field, leads to another run, and that's kind of that's how potent the offense was. It required the Diamondbacks making some miscues. Yeah, this team, and you know what? This team does that every once in a while, and it's not just this team. It's like if you're a fan of any of the other 29 teams, this happens probably more often. But it is frustrating when it happens with the Dodgers. One, because of the firepower. Two, last night in particular was against a pitcher that you would not expect to be shutting down this kind of lineup. And three, and this is the one that irks me, I think, the most, is that you hate when they waste a gem from the starting pitching. And that's what we got last night from Robleski, and it was all for naught.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a couple of things in there that I really want to hit on. Let's start with the Robleski one, since that was the last one that you said. Robleski is fantastic. He has proven that he's basically just a dog now. Remember the bullpen dogs a couple of years ago? He is a dog. Just goes out there and gets outs. Whether it's not always with a swing and miss, it's not always with the strikeout, but he has figured something out where his two pitches are going to get guys out, and consistently they get soft contact of it. Then it doesn't give up much. He also has a nice, good defense behind him that's going to help him out in those situations. But Justin Robleski has looked everything that you could want from him. That was a very, very strong outing from him. It was just too bad the bullpen just kind of blew up. So what are you seeing from Robleski that is just changed the way that he's thought about his thought process?
Yeah, I think that the pitching to contact philosophy is still there, but I think when he gets ahead of guys, he's now got the mentality that I can put people away. Like, my stuff is good enough now that I can get some swing and miss here. And I think we've seen some more of that in his more recent outings. And so when you couple in, like, look, I'll get ahead if you want to swing and you want to put the ball in play. I trust that my stuff's decent enough that you're not going to hit everything through the gap or over the fence. And he's correct. His stuff is good enough. And then, as he's able to work ahead in the counts, then he's picking spots and going, you know what, I can get some swing and miss here, or I don't have to throw a ball necessarily in the zone. I know that my stuff's deceptive enough that I can make something out of hand look like a strike that you might offer at that ends up, kind of basically unhittable. Or if you do put it in play, it's not going to be very hard. And so he's figured that out. I think we've watched his evolution over the course of the last handful of starts for him. You mentioned that like he was part of that the dogs in the bullpen last season before. That mentality carried into the rotation. I do wonder like how that can help guys like Sheehan and Roki Sasaki. In not just right, they don't all pitch the same, but in just that, like, you know what, I could fight through some of this stuff, some of these struggles I've had in game, some of the struggles I've had if it's been a bad outing overall. Like Justin has figured out a way to work through those things. Roki's starting to figure it out. You know, I wonder if that kind of stuff gets contagious and rubs off, because we've seen it in the bullpen happen that way, right? Where a guy goes, I got 3 outs. I need to figure out how to do my job and do it well. And that sort of mentality is contagious. I wonder if that, I don't have an answer to this, but I just curious if guys all in similar situations in the rotation, if that can rub off on them.
No, I love that, Anthony. That's a great point. The fact that they know they're all feeding off of each other and knowing that no matter what the situation, and even if you get a couple of guys on base, let's say it's no outs, 1 out, even if they get guys on base, they know that their stuff will play and they can wiggle out of whatever there is. For the most part, I mean, a couple of bad outings here and there for Obleski, but for the most part, he has done that. He gets guys on base, and then he finds a way out of it because he's trusting his stuff. Roki Sasaki, now he wasn't doing that earlier in the season. He is doing that a bit more now. So now you're looking. So I think that's a great point. Sheehan had a decent outing. So it was actually a really good outing despite the home runs in that first game. But it really feels like the pitching staffs are all feeding off each other again. And it might be that same bullpen dog mentality. You also got a guy like Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani that's pitching in front of you. So you're like, oh, okay, they can do it. So it kind of helps out. It kind of helps out a little bit. Cappy just got here to come to San Diego. So another thing that we were talking about, no Shohei in the lineup as we're talking about him. No Shohei in the lineup is something that it shouldn't be that way, though. Just because Shohei is not in the lineup, you have enough guys that you should be able to get through it and have a decent outing overall, right? Like Mookie, we can get into the Mookie portion of it, but before we do, no Shohei in the lineup. What is it? Is it a mentality thing? Also, we're talking about the bullpen having and the pitching staff having that mentality. No Shohei at the top, and they just think, okay, we're not going to hit anything tonight, so we're just going to move on.
Yeah, over the last 2 or 3 weeks or whatever it's been, Shohei's got a OBP that's over 5, and so
look at this. Scott Kaplan, what's up, buddy? I love this man right here.
He's getting on base more than half the time, and so that's a huge help when the guy at the top of your order is constantly on base. It seems like putting more pressure on the pitching staff, but when he's not there, you're right. This lineup is deep enough that it shouldn't be getting shut down like this. And it hasn't always when Shohei's not been in the lineup. I think we saw one game where it actually broke out without him. But, look, I think this is just one of those situations where, they did put some good at-bats together. They did hit some balls hard. They just missed a few pitches. Paz stands out. He feels like he's just been missing things over the last couple of weeks. But yeah, I think it's just one of those nights where this kind of thing happens. We've seen them go through their prolonged struggles as a group. That hasn't been the case here for a while now, but basically kind of coinciding with Shohei really getting going. So I'm not overly concerned, but it is frustrating to watch in the moment for sure.
No, 100%. Look, they're 16-5 in their last 21 games, so we're not freaking out here by any means. It was a bad game and a bad situation, so we talk about the things. Mookie Betts was at the top there, and Mookie has not been Mookie and has had a couple of games where he looked good. He was hitting the ball hard for a little while. Then he had the multi-home run game. Then he had a 3-hit game a little bit later. But in between that, it looks pretty bad in between. And he, again, last night, not really productive at the top of the lineup. That's kind of where you need him to be productive instead of Shohei there. And he kind of is not hitting the things that we've been talking about. And look, I will never make him my villain because he gave us 3 world championships rings. He is immune to the villainy. So it's all just talking about what it is that's going on with him. What should you do with Mookie? Because the 1 spot's not going to work seemingly. I mean, there was only a small sample size. 2 spot wasn't working. 5 spot really wasn't working. 4 spot really wasn't. Do you move him down? Do you leave him in that spot and just let him work out of it? What do you do with Mookie or think is the best course of action?
Yeah, this should be evidence, at least Exhibit A for this season that the fans who want guys moved all around the lineup because they're struggling, it doesn't help them break out.
Nope.
For me, I'd leave him probably at the 4 spot. I'd play around with the 2 spot, right? Pages mostly there right now. I'd probably leave that Ohtani, Pages, and then you figure it out from there. Mookie probably in the 4 or 5 spot for the moment. It's a frustrating thing to watch with him in the moment as he's going through it. You look under the hood a little bit.
You got some nerd stats for me? You got like Jeff Spiegel nerd stats for me?
I'm not going to list them off for you. I don't need to do that. Yeah. Jeff has a whole notepad full of
right, just all the way up and down multiple columns.
He'll read them off to you. I'll leave that for him on Monday. But you look at the Baseball Savant page, and here's the nice thing about that is it has all those nerd stats, but it's in a very easy to read chart. You open it up. If you see mostly blue, blue's bad. It means cold. You see a lot of red, it's pretty good. It means kind of hot. You open his page up right now, and it's mostly gray, which is meh, and then there's a bunch of red. And so I think there's positive stuff there to see in his approach. He hasn't gotten too far away from that, and he has hit some balls hard. He has had some bad luck. I think we've all seen that too. If he can start pulling the ball in the air a little bit more, with some barrel behind it, he's going to be fine, which is most hitters. I think right now, though, he's just not getting the results when he does make contact and put the ball in play. It's getting to be a little bit of a prolonged thing now. And so there is some okay, now we got to start moving him around in the lineup so it doesn't impact that particular inning as much. Long run, that red makes me say, I'm not too worried about this guy. It's going to start to turn around the other way soon. And you know what? We've said that with Pages. We said that with Ohtani. We even said it with Freddie. And so, now it's Mookie's turn.
Yeah, the only issue with the Mookie part is that it's been a steady trajectory downwards. And while these numbers are good, I totally agree with you, and I have all the faith in the world that Mookie's going to turn it around. Even on the broadcast a couple of nights ago, Oro was talking about how is leading the league in squaring balls up. So it's coming around. It's there. It just isn't resulting in the results that we're looking for. So Mookie is going to be someone. You're about to say something about Mookie before I move on.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point that you made about he's been in this steady decline for a while now, and he has. And I think, we said this on our show, and I went on a little bit of a rant with this last week, maybe the week before, about we need to figure out how to adjust our expectations for Mookie Betts. I think holding him to the MVP caliber standard, you're constantly going to be disappointed now because he's not that player, but he's not a bad player. This last week, 2 weeks ago, I can't remember exactly when we did this part of our show, but at that time in his last 1,800-ish plate appearances, which is a pretty
large sample size,
pretty good sample size, he had a weighted runs created plus nerd stat alert of 118, which is he's not going to win an MVP if he hits 118 over a season, but he might make an all-star team. And, so that's a pretty good sample size, not a ton to be overly concerned about. And he's had these real ugly slumps. And I think part of the ugliness is that we expect him to be the MVP. If we expect him to be a really good defensive shortstop and a pretty good offensive player, I think those valleys look a lot less ugly than they have. And so I think part of it is on us to adjust our expectations for what Mookie Betts is as an offensive player.
Yeah, so I don't think anybody, at least I'm not, and I'm sure most people are not also expecting MVP Mookie Betts. I think they're expecting Mookie Betts to be as close to Mookie Betts as possible. Not the number with the MVP level. I'm talking give me a non-base percentage of around 330 to 350. He's at 250 right now.
Sure.
Give me an OPS that's around, probably 750 to 800, which is that's league average. That he's somewhere in the 600s right now. Those numbers are just so far down, and we see so many 0 for 4s, 0 for 5s from him that it starts when you're watching him, and it's a lot of pop-ups, it's a lot of ground outs. He's rolling over pitches. I think those are the types of things that frustrate fans. And like under the hood stuff is all much better, and he's squaring it up like we were talking about. So he will turn it around at some point. I have faith that he will. It's just a frustration to watch right now and see that it's. I hate to say it this way, but it's a dead spot in the lineup at this moment, and it's a tough thing to think about when you're thinking about Mookie Betts.
Yeah, sometimes his gift can be his curse, where he doesn't whiff a lot, and so for him, like getting the walks for him means being kind of ultra patient, because even if he's ahead in the count and he swings where some guys might foul pitches off, he actually gets enough barrel on the ball or enough bat on the ball to put it in play. And sometimes that's a pitch where you're better off fouling away and singing something else and getting to that walk or finding a better pitch that you can handle. Yeah, I'm with you. It is frustrating. Mookie's my favorite player. Every time he has one of these games, I wilt a little bit inside personally because I want to see him do well. I don't buy many jerseys. I don't have a jersey myself, but I bought my daughter a Mookie jersey when she was born. She's gotten a second one since then as she's grown out of that first one.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah. So, and you know what? I'll buy her a third one when, as long as he's still on the team, she'll get a third one when she grows out of this one. Because like you said, he brought us 3 World Series, but I feel that inside, and I feel it because also I know what the reaction is going to be from the fan base too.
Right. And look, you can wear a Mookie Betts jersey at Dodger Stadium whenever for the rest of time, and that's totally acceptable. No one's going to remember he was really bad later on in his career. No, they're going to say, hey, he was an MVP. He had 3 World Series rings. He was everything that we hoped for from him. And while his contract has a lot of money towards these last couple of years, it's fine. I'm totally fine with the way how everything works out.
It's paid for.
It's paid. It got paid for years ago. All of it is totally fine. So we have to get to a couple other things because time is running out already. But last night there was a very weird play at first base, and I know it was a very bang play, but Max Muncy and Elmerdo Vargas were just collided. And by the way, first of all, Max Muncy is not a dude that you want to collide with.
No,
that man is a monster. He's big. He's strong. And when he pushes his fists into your chest, you're going to go down, and it's going to hurt. But it was a very weird play. I don't think there was anything that either one of those guys could do. They're going full speed, going straight forward, not knowing which way the other person's going to go. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe Vargas should have peeled off early because he wasn't going to get there. But in that moment, it was so close and trying to get the out. I mean, what did you see? And have you heard anything whether Muncy's okay? Because I don't think he had a concussion, but did you hear anything?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I turned the TV off immediately after Marte put the bat on the ball. I didn't even wait.
Yeah, bye-bye.
I didn't even wait for it to there was no fair or foul conversation for me in my own head. I thought that was fair. And so I didn't see the post game to see what was going on with Muncy, but later on, I did bring myself to pick my phone up and check Twitter to find out what was going on with Muncy in particular. And so no concussion. I think he passed the concussion protocol, but a little banged up, had the cut on his nose. He said coming from home plate, neither was Muncy. They were both coming in direct lines to the bag. And I don't know what the thinking is here, but basically for the people who don't know, it's first base as normal. And then on the foul side of first base, there was a base attached to it. Same size, same dimensions, everything. One base is for the fielder. One base is for the runner coming from first base. And you go to that bag, the fielder catches the ball in the other bag. And so you can avoid situations. This is exactly what it's for. So situations like this do not occur. Baseball needs to put that into play. Because you're going to continue a couple of times every season. Collisions like this are going to happen where a guy ends up on the IL because of it. And, possibly worse than just the IL. So if Muncy comes out of this with, maybe a couple of missed games or something like that, I think we're fortunate because it looked a lot worse in real time than maybe it actually resulted in.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I think they wouldn't do it, and it's the silliest reason, is aesthetic. They just don't like the look of a second bag that's on the base pass and what it's going to mean for, touching the bag, because when you're touching the bag on the on SeaWorld, like the bag is a little bit inside and the red bag's a little bit outside, and there's going to be a whole bunch of different things. How do you know exactly when touch is going to be a difficult conversation? It works everywhere else. Major League Baseball will eventually, I think, come down to this because they don't want that. And why does it always feel like Max Muncy is the guy that's getting hurt going up and down the first baseline? It's always Muncy. So that's frustrating.
And this is part of the lack of respect, probably, that Muncy gets league-wide. But this is unfortunate. The Buster Posey rule took Buster Posey breaking his leg at the time when he was MVP and the Giants were in World Series, et cetera, et cetera. Unfortunately, it's probably going to take a superstar having this happen to them and getting hurt significantly enough that Major League Baseball goes, okay, we need to change this. And I think outside of Dodger world, Max Muncy is not significant enough for the league to bat an eyelash at this, I think.
I think it's a great point, and you're probably right. All right, we only have a few minutes left, so I do want to get into Tanner Scott. Tanner Scott, this is, I believe, the second of third outings that he has given up a home run and had some trouble. I might be wrong on my numbers there, but I think it's 2 out of 3. But this is now giving up a couple of home runs. He's not looking as sharp as he did. I still think he's going to be fine. I actually still have full trust in him. It was a tie game. I have a very weird theory. It's not really weird. I have a theory that anytime, and he's a closer right now, a closer comes into a tied game or they're down, they're going to give up runs. It just happens every single time, and it's a different mindset and all that. So I think that was just what it was with Tanner Scott. Is just he felt about it differently. I don't think it's who knows if that's the right way to look at it, but I don't think. I'm not blaming Tanner Scott just yet. I'm not going backwards and thinking about what he did last year. I think this year he has been so good for the most part that I'm going to give him a little bit of grace right now. How about you?
Yeah, same. A big part of this for me is when we saw him give up those home runs in the previous outing before last night, they came with 2 strikes, and they were just some pitches that caught way too much of the strike zone. And it was just a lack of command on that outing. The home run last night, even though I immediately turned the TV off, I at least saw where the pitch was, and I went back later to confirm the same time I went and looked for Max Muncy updates. The pitch wasn't bad. It was down. It was in. It was right on the border. Like if they challenged it, it would have been called a strike, but it was in a place where like the umpire could have called it a ball. That's how borderline it was. Marte just went down and got it. He turned into the MVP looking Marte that the Diamondbacks need, and not the this contract looks awful Marte that he's been for part of this season. And he went and got it. And so that's why I'm not overly concerned. It was not a bad pitch. It took a player of Marte's caliber to go and get it and hit it out of the park. If it were middle, I have a little bit more concern this morning. I just hope that fans understand that and do not do what they did last time to Scott and his family. That's completely just gross. But yeah, not super concerned based on where that pitch ended up being and how Marte went and had to go get it.
Yeah, totally with you. And also, it's never acceptable to do what people were doing to his family, ever, no matter what it is. So absolutely do not do that. And if you see someone that's doing that, tell them to stop it. That's ridiculous. Absolutely insane. All right, before we get going, I do want to hear about what you're doing over at Dodger Blue, but what are you doing on Sunday at 1:00? I'm going to be in Clearman's Galley in San Gabriel watching the Dodgers and the Angels, and there's going to be the Milagro Tequila Mobile, and they're going to be doing I don't know what this is. Tequila Mobile. They put the freshest margaritas. Want to come hang out? Watch some Dodgers Angels? Sunday, San Gabriel, 1:00. Come on, Anthony.
That is very, very tempting. Unfortunately.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm a tequila guy, and so that could get fun. But I host over on Dodger Blue 1958, our YouTube channel and podcast. So yeah, on Sundays I host our post game show. So I would have to I'd have to put the leash on myself if I were out there with you.
So come for the first 5 innings, leave to watch the rest of it, watch on the phone on the way home. It's illegal, but don't do it anyway. So I will be there on Sunday. So make sure you got everybody there in the chat. Come hang out let's drink some tequila and watch some baseball. All right. Thank you very much. Find Anthony after the game on Sunday on Dodger Blue 1958. Sedano and Cap is coming up next, live from SeaWorld at the Shark Encounter. We're going to have sharks all around us. It's going to be awesome. So see you in just a few. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Tim. And we'll see you in a few minutes. See you.